Transition from laminar to turbulent flow of the liquid. I have told you earlier that there are three types of flow: the laminar flow, transition flow and the turbulent flow. So now I will tell you that how this transition from laminar to turbulent takes place. I have also discussed about the lower critical velocity and the upper critical velocity, and there I told you that what happens when the laminar flow changes into the turbulent flow. So now this we will also here discuss about the factors which affect this transition of the liquid from laminar flow to turbulent flow. For laminar flow, the Reynolds number RE is less than 2000. This we know that the laminar flow takes place when the Reynolds number is less than 2000. For transition flow, the Reynolds number is greater than 2000 but less than 4000. This I have told you earlier. For turbulent flow, Reynolds number is greater than 4000. Greater than 4000. This is now what that we have taken the data from the recent studies, that when this happens then there is the laminar flow, the transition flow and the turbulent flow. As I told you earlier, the transition flow is the mixture of the laminar flow and the turbulent flow. So generally when the flow changes from laminar to turbulent, then first it is converted into the transition flow and then from transition it goes to turbulent flow. Transition from laminar to turbulent flow. Reynolds number must be greater than 4000. This is the condition. And I have also shown you these three kinds of flow in by means of the picture. As I can have all these, this is the laminar flow. The heads have the parabolic path. This is the transition flow. This is the laminar flow. This is laminar flow. but just near the axis of the pipe, the disturbance in the flow starts. So you can see that these layers are not the straight one, but they are zigzag. So this is the mixture of the two flows. So this is the transition flow. And now if I have like this, I can show you like if the transition is like this one, in which the heads have no definite direction, but the layers of the liquid intersect each other, so that one molecule of the one layer goes into the other layer, and that its velocity is also not definite. So because of that, now this is the turbulent flow. So this is the laminar flow. This is transition flow. And this is now turbulent flow. Now when there is the turbulent flow, then what happens that at this Reynolds number higher than 4000, there are the eddies that are formed in the liquid. In turbulent flow, adding motion of all sizes are formed in which a large part of mechanical energy goes into heat transfer. So when eddies are formed, then liquid is flowing. At that time we are having a turbulent flow. Then there is the mechanical energy, and this mechanical energy is wasted in the form of the heat. So there is a large part of mechanical energy which goes into the heat transfer. Transition from laminar to turbulent flow depends upon following factors. What are the factors? Now first is the smoothness of the pipe. Smoothness of the pipe. As the smoothness of the pipe increases, the turbulent flow becomes more and more hard. So this pipe must be the rough one, then the turbulent flow is very high. less is smoothness of pipe, more is turbulent flow. More is turbulent flow. Number 2 is disturbances to velocity of flow. So what are these disturbances? For example, the vibrations. There may be vibration in the pipe, because of that the more chances are for the turbulent flow. So that takes easily. Similarly, we have the noise, etc. So these are the factors which affect the velocity of the flow. So these causes the disturbance in the velocity. Now third, geometry of पाइप. भाई पाइप कैसा है, इसका क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया कैसा है, सर्कुलर है, रेक्टेंगुलर है या ट्रायंगुलर है. तो जैसा भी इसका ज्योमेट्री हो उस पर भी ये डिपेंड करता है. तो जो सर्कुलर पाइप होते हैं उनमें जो टर्बुलेंट फ्लो होता है वो इतना जल्दी नहीं होता, जबकि और जो पाइप जो होते हैं उनमें बहुत जल्दी ये टर्बुलेंट फ्लो होता है. नंबर 4, viscosity of liquid. जो the liquids which have the higher viscosity, they have less turbulent flow. For example, you can see the honey, the glycerine, and the most dense is that is the fevicol. So in that case, the turbulent flow is very less. But in case of the thin liquids like the water, petrol, etc., there is more chances to have the turbulent flow. So the viscosity of the liquid plays an important role for the transition from laminar to turbulent flow. Larger the viscosity, very less chances for transition to turbulent flow. Number 5, heat transfer. Heat transfer. Heat transfer is what? That when there is a turbulent flow, the eddies are formed. So these eddies have the mechanical energy which changes into the heat energy. So this heat energy is transferred from point to point in the flow. Because of that, there is the wastage of the mechanical energy, and this heat reduces the viscosity of the liquid. So the more chances are there for the transition of the flow of the liquid from laminar to turbulent. Larger the heat transfer, due to eddies, more is turbulent flow. Turbulent flow. So these are the factors which affect the transition of the liquid from laminar to the turbulent. So first is what? The smoothness of the pipe. So pipe must be as rough as possible for the transition. Second, the disturbances to the velocity of the flow. The disturbance is what? The vibration of the pipe and that the noise because of the liquid flow. And second, the geometry of the pipe. So the pipe, when there is a rough geometry, then there is more chances for the transition from laminar to turbulent. And third is the viscosity of the liquid. Larger the viscosity, less is the chances of transition from laminar to turbulent. Heat transfer, when the eddies are formed due to the turbulent, there is the transfer of the heat from one point to another point. So this heat is generated due to the conversion of mechanical energy into the heat energy. So because of that, this also affects the transition, and when the heat transfer is larger, then the viscosity decreases. So because of that, the more chances are there for the transition from laminar to turbulent flow of the liquid. So this is the transition of the flow from laminar to turbulent. So thank you very much.